Hey there, welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, thank you so much, as always, for making today's program a part of your day. Coming up, I want to take a look at the top available NFL free agents who have yet to sign with teams, and as part of that, which players could Philadelphia target? So without further ado, let's get it underway. And obviously, all types of different players are available in week 2 of free agency here. And this list is headlined by Aaron Rodgers, the 4-time MVP, the future Hall of Famer. Is he going to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Is he going to sign with the New York Giants? The Minnesota Vikings appear to be out on the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes because they plan to move forward with J.J. McCarthy going into year 2 as their starting quarterback under Kevin O'Connell. But that's still one of the big storylines across the NFL, and Aaron Rodgers, the best free agent available. J.K. Dobbins, a solid running back, been injured a lot to start his career and was barely on the field when with the Baltimore Ravens. When he was an impactful guy. Then last year, he goes to the Los Angeles Chargers. He was productive before he got hurt. When on the field, he's a talented back. Unfortunately, he's been snake-bitten by injuries. Amari Cooper, really good longevity within his career, and he's put up monster numbers throughout it. Looks as though he is trending toward being washed. Stefon Diggs coming off a torn ACL. I saw some videos circulating on social media. He seems to be moving very well. I am not ruling out him returning to the football field for spring OTAs, definitely for training camp. He tore his ACL last year in his debut season with the Houston Texans. Keenan Allen, big-bodied wide receiver who can go up and get it, a little bit long in the tooth at this point. Will Hernandez, former Giant, played recently with the Arizona Cardinals. He's a good interior offensive lineman. Teven Jenkins has played offensive tackle. He's played guard. He's been in a subpar environment with the Chicago Bears. I think the Bears are turning that around with Ben Johnson, but it looks as though Chicago is going to move on from Teven Jenkins, and I think that he could benefit from a change of scenery. Matthew Judon, good edge rusher for a very long time. He was so-so with Atlanta last year. Former Eagle Kyzir White started for this team in the Super Bowl back in 2022. Then he followed Jonathan Gannon to Arizona. Stephon Gilmore, borderline Hall of Famer, former Defensive Player of the Year, played last year with the Minnesota Vikings, and I thought he played good football. Asante Samuel, he's probably my second favorite player on this list as far as talent level goes and the impact that he can have in 2025. Obviously, his pops, Asante Samuel Sr., played for Philadelphia. Great player for the New England Patriots as well. One of the best anticipatory, read the eyes of the quarterback, come through with an interception type of corners in the NFL in recent memory. Justin Simmons, 4-time second-team All-Pro. We've talked a lot about him in the past, but he could be a cheap option for the Eagles. Played under Vic Fangio and is a big fan of Christian Parker, who's currently the Eagles defensive backs coach. Calais Campbell, most likely a Hall of Famer. Ageless wonder, really. He continues to defy Father Time, even at that size. And then Jedrick Wills, never really panned out for Cleveland, but he could be a member of Jeff Stoutland University if he wants to get his career back on track. Couple of storylines here and thoughts. You never know what is going on with Aaron Rodgers. This was him last week during week 1 of free agency. On a beach, pondering his future. Obviously, he's a free thinker, and maybe he signs with the New York Giants. I think he should sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that he's the final piece to really help that team get over the top, where with the Giants, he'd have to be a game changer. I don't think he's that game changer at this part of his career, but last year, no offensive coordinator, bad Jets team. He threw for 28 touchdowns, 11 picks, and 3,800 yards. I think he can still play. I just think he's better suited on that Steelers team with George Pickens, DK Metcalf, Pat Freiermuth, one of the top defenses, and he would make the Steelers a factor in the AFC. If he signs with the Giants, that directly impacts the Philadelphia Eagles because the Eagles will not have to play Aaron Rodgers twice a year. Has been the case in recent memory when they've had to take on the likes of Daniel Jones or other scrub quarterbacks. There are also a lot of wide receivers who are atop this list of the best available free agents. I don't think the Eagles need to make a move at wideout. You're fine with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson. see if Johnny Wilson and Anaya Smith can develop. I don't think the Eagles make a move there. Players who do intrigue me, though: offensive linemen, defensive backs, and you have to sprinkle in some edge rushers there with how Howie Roseman likes to build his football teams. With that, this is today's poll question. What is the biggest need currently on this Philadelphia Eagles roster after the peak of free agency, going into week 2 of free agency, as we're here right now, I should say, and then looking ahead to the NFL draft at the end of April? Let me know down in the comment section right now. As for Will Hernandez, he's coming off season-ending knee surgery last year, so he only played about 7 games for the Cardinals in 2024. In 2023, wasn't a bad player by any means. He had an overall Pro Football Focus grade of 66.2. That was 30th among 136 interior offensive linemen. Pass blocking grade of 70.2. That ranked 22nd. And then a run blocking grade of 60.6. That was 49th. All those numbers in the green. Teven Jenkins is a player who I liked in the pre-draft process a few years ago. He's just never been able to fully work out for the Chicago Bears after they took him in the second round in 2021 out of Oklahoma State. And I think the Bears kind of messed this up by themselves. They tried to play him at a bunch of different positions. At 6'6", 321, I think he's a really good tackle, but he played tackle year 1, right guard year 2, all along the offensive line the last couple of years. He's also really struggled to stay healthy, but when healthy, and that included 14 games, 14 starts last year, overall PFF grade of 75.4, 4 sacks given up, 1 hit, 12 hurries, 4 penalties, and he's a player who, if you're Jeff Stoutland, why not take a chance on him knowing that Philadelphia has a need for a backup swing tackle? Before we continue to move forward on today's show, Eagles Now is hot. One of the hottest channels here under the Chat Sports umbrella for all of the sports that we cover. And it was the hottest channel for a long while during that epic Eagles Super Bowl and playoff run. We're 520 people away from 117,000 subscribers. So if you want shows like this every single day on your YouTube feeds, lock us in and hit that sub button. Speaking of that Eagles Super Bowl gear available, thanks to our homies at Fanatics. All you have to do is plug in that link down below and you can look good, feel good, rep the birds, and celebrate this Super Bowl 59 epic victory. Head to chatsports.com/EaglesSB. You use that link, it'll take you to Fanatics, and then Fanatics knows that Eagles Now and Chat Sports sent you hoodies, shirts, hats, jerseys, all types of stuff available. Just use that link down below. For Matthew Judon, he got what he wanted last year, and that was to get traded from the New England Patriots to the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons were desperate to pick up an edge rusher. He had a so-so season, certainly not a season like he had in 2022 when he had 15.5 sacks, and in 2021 when he had 12.5, only played in those 4 games in 2023. Maybe that impacted the 2024 that he had, but this is a player who has also been in the league as a productive player for a really long time. 5.5 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, and 5 pass breakups last year for Atlanta for a defense that really struggled, and they actually moved off of their defensive coordinator not even a full year into that tenure. And so Judon is a player who hits the market and could be of interest to teams who are looking for a veteran pass rusher who in the past has put up some really good production. A lot of Eagles fans have talked about bringing back Kyzir White after the Eagles lost a player like Oren Burks, and there's uncertainty around Nakobe Dean with that patellar tendon injury. They did bring back Zach Bond, and if Nakobe Dean misses a lot of time, you might have to rely on the likes of Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and Ben Van Sumeren, who are unproven players at the linebacker spot. Kyzir White is a pretty proven player who's been a tackling machine of late. In 2024 for Arizona, under Jonathan Gannon, 137 tackles, 9 TFLs, 2.5 sacks, 3 pass breakups, 1 pick. Season before that in 2023, 90 tackles, 9 TFLs, 2 sacks, 3 pass breakups, and a pick. with Philadelphia back in 2022, a starter for that team that made it to the Super Bowl and lost to the Chiefs in Super Bowl 57. 110 tackles, 3 TFLs, 1.5 sacks, 7 pass breakups. The Eagles had gotten him at a bargain then, coming off a year in which, with the Chargers, he also played pretty well and once again eclipsed 100 tackles. I think if the Eagles were to bring him in, he understands what Vic Fangio wants to do on defense for the most part, because Jonathan Gannon ran a lot of those same defensive concepts. You're getting a very consistent and durable player who could be very affordable as well to give you linebacker insurance. Stephon Gilmore last year, 56 tackles, a pick, 9 pass breakups, played well for Minnesota a year after he played pretty well for the Dallas Cowboys. Gilmore is a player who obviously is past his prime, but veteran cornerbacks don't demand a lot in free agency. And after the Eagles lost Darius Slay and lost Isaiah Rodgers, they did sign Adoree Jackson to a 1-year contract. Do they want more veteran depth with an accomplished player like Gilmore? Last year, those 9 pass breakups showed that he still has an ability to make plays on the football, a quarterback rating when targeted of 87.5. If the Eagles do go corner, the player who I think they should target is Asante Samuel Jr. This cornerback market has been rich. A lot of corners getting $14 to $20 million per year. Asante Samuel Jr. is a player who's young, who did injure his shoulder last year, only played 4 games. But look at the pass breakup numbers his first 4 years ever since being a second-round pick out of Florida State. He's really good, and he has awesome instincts on the outside. 11 pass breakups as a rookie, 11 more in year 2, 13 in year 3. I'm really surprised his market hasn't been more vast. Calais Campbell. It always amazes me with Calais Campbell how well he still moves in his late 30s at this point at 6'8", 282 pounds. Last year for the Dolphins, he was pretty damn good as a rotational player along that defensive line. 52 tackles, 5 sacks, and 12 TFLs. He'll bat some passes down at the line of scrimmage. He'll get after the quarterback. He can make disruptive plays in the backfield as well. For Jedrick Wills, the stock really cooled for him as his Browns career grew on. And last year, 5 games played, 3 sacks. Pretty big disappointment after how his career had started coming out of Alabama, the potential that he had while at Alabama. A lot of people loved him, and then it never really worked out for him in Cleveland. But Jeff Stoutland, he's always looking around for offensive linemen he can develop and turn into really good players in this league. Another reminder, subscribe to the channel. Anytime I'm talking Eagles here, I want to give you coverage that is informative, insightful, thought-provoking, where you have a voice. So join the movement, make the right decision, and hit that subscribe button right now.